Hey guys, so GATE is coming in a few days. Like you have GATE civil paper on Feb 12th and GATE geomatics on Feb 13th. So we are getting a lot of calls and requests asking how to approach the paper. Like a lot of you have questions like should I do aptitude first or how many questions should I attempt? So let's ask Aditya Sir on how can you approach the paper. So this is good for both civil and for geomatics also. So let us get ahead. So let's say one is entering the exam hall and the test is starting. What should one do? Like, how are you going to go about the paper? What should be the first thoughts?
So once you start the paper, there is an option to scan the paper or have a look at the whole paper at once. On the right hand side next to the calculator, there's an option. So if you click on that, through that option, you can look at all the questions in the paper, all the questions you can see, and if you quickly scroll, you can decide if you are only selective about the topics. If you have only prepared a few topics or a number of topics, you can figure out how many of those questions you can attempt and which of the questions you have no idea about. So once you do that, I mean, don't spend more than 5 minutes in that, but you can quickly do that so that you'll have an idea what kind of questions are there.
Okay, so let's say if I'm going to scan a paper, should I read the question and the options fully, or how should I like even scan the paper?
You should not read the whole thing, it will be very time consuming. It should be more of like you get an idea that the question is from this particular topic. If you got that idea, that's sufficient for that part.
Okay, so that just helps in okay, this topic I know, so you'll have the
Yeah.
confidence to write it. Okay, and should I start with aptitude first, or should I do the technical and then come back to aptitude?
That is a little bit of personal preference, but according to me, you can start with aptitude. There will be a few questions which will be extremely easy, and you can quickly solve those questions, and it will help you in the exam to get started. You'll get some rhythm, some momentum, and
Okay.
you can carry that forward.
Okay, and how much time should I spend per question? Like sometimes some question is longer, so should I spend some 5 minutes solving that and move on, or should I set a time limit for each question?
You should have a time limit at max. I mean, compared to the marks versus question, if we see, so it comes to about less than 2 minutes for a 1 mark question. So if it is a 1 mark question, you can spend up to 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and for a 2 mark question you can spend up to 5 minutes, and that is the maximum. You should never go beyond that limit. If you are getting stuck, it is a better idea to come back to that question and try to solve it then.
Okay, so in many places I have heard about attempting the paper in a cyclic way. So I'm not sure what they exactly mean. So can you little bit tell about it? Is that even a good approach?
So in that manner, you can. It will mean that you are looking at the paper more than once. So in a first run, you can say you will be looking at the questions and solving it as you go, not spending too much time on any question, and also marking questions for review that you feel you can do and you have actually tried and getting stuck. So you can mark those questions. Once you have done that with the whole paper, you can go back to those marked questions that you marked for review, and then you can try to solve that, and the same process you can do in that manner without getting stuck on any single question.
Okay, and they also provide with a rough book. So is there any tips on how to use that rough book better?
Actually, it is very important to keep it organized because you will need to look at those calculations again. So it is a small book. You can actually use one single page for each question and organize it very well. For every question, write down the data, draw a diagram whenever it is necessary or useful, and try to keep that whole page neat so that you can look it back and make some more calculations on that same page if it is needed.
Okay, so is it necessary to revisit the calculations once you complete the question?
It is not always necessary, but if you are feeling some doubt in a question, then or it was a calculation intensive question, then it is better that you check it once again.
Okay, okay. So now they have a new pattern called MSQ, multiple select questions. So we have also seen in APSEd test series, a lot of people go wrong in this MSQ. So is there any better way to approach this question?
The tip that is useful in this actually is useful in every question. The main thing here is to give reading a question sufficient time. Whatever time is needed to read a question very carefully, you need to give that. Especially it becomes more important in MSQs because a lot of times they say find the incorrect, mark the incorrect options, or you will be thinking they have asked for the correct options. So in that manner, there is a high likelihood of getting a mistake. So you should read the questions carefully, and if it is an MSQ, then you have to read the options also very carefully.
Okay. Okay, and also in NATs, so recently we are seeing the range which they give is very less. Sometimes even they are telling the range is 15 to 15. There is literally no option, like there is not much range. So when I solve the numerical type, what should I do so that I don't miss out on the range?
If you are, let's say you are doing some division, and in your calculation you have to do approximation, so it's better to not use your approximation. It's better that you use the calculator, whatever the calculator is suggesting, and use that calculation in further calculation. Like if the question is involving the value of pi, then it is better that you actually take that value from the calculator rather than rounding it off to 3.14.
Okay. Okay. I think that is all with the questions for now. If you have any other question, do let us know in the comment section. And any final words for the students who are writing this week?
As I would just like to say, as only few days are left, this is the last week of your preparation, then work on your confidence. Don't try to intimidate yourself by studying too much or trying to give a lot of tests or something like that. Focus on the revision part, focus on the things that you know rather than the things that you don't know. You try to avoid thinking about the negative parts and focus on your strengths and be confident. It will help you a lot in the exam.